ONeill. One thing before we begin, if there's a great pickup with license plate 535 JQ7, leave in the car. You're blocking back. Thank you. Mr. ONeill.
Thank you, Derek. Hello to everybody in the streaming overflow rooms, and Derek, thank you for warming up the crowd. You know, I'm not it's nice to be speaking in a college of law, and especially a courtroom. I am an attorney. A little bit of disclosure. The first day that I started law school, my first law professor comes into the room late, and he walks down the aisle like I did. Well, I was a little bit more exuberant, but he came down, jaw out, shoulders up, hunched, walked with a limp, came down to his podium, looked at someone in the crowd, told her to stand up, and recite the most impossible case that you could think of in Latin. And we all sat there in the class thinking, we're doomed. What did we just get into? That turned out it was a complete joke. He started laughing, and then he swore us all to secrecy not to tell the next class. But that's what law school is like. And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you for being here. I hope that you will judge my keynote with a lot of respect and diligence, but I wait to hear what your verdict is. We're talking about cybersecurity, and I want to start with a story. The story is about Robert Hansen. He wakes up one morning. It's a morning not too far away from today, in February 18th to be exact. And he gets up and he has brunch with his family, his children, he has 7 of them, and his grandchildren, he has plenty of them, show up at their house, and he and Bonnie cook a big brunch. He goes out with his best friend who's been staying over for the weekend, and they throw a frisbee with his black Labrador. They go to church together. It's a wonderful day. And the day goes on, and finally it's time for him to take his best friend to Dulles Airport, which is where I flew out to get here, so he can go back to Germany where he works for a munitions company. And he drives his friend to Dulles, he drops him off. And on his way home that evening, very cold February evening, I know it doesn't get very chilly here, it was really nice getting up this morning, but it's freezing back home. In Virginia, he stops at a little park called Boxstone Park in Vienna, Virginia. Parks outside the park, looks around him, his breath is frosting in front of him. He feels that no one is paying attention. It's evening, it's too cold for even the joggers to be out there. He walks into the park, following a well-trod path. And he gets through the park into the center, stands on a little footbridge. He looks around him, and because it's February, autumn has stolen the leaves from all the trees. He can see everywhere. He feels safe because he's alone. He reaches into his sport coat, and he pulls out a package about yay big. It's wrapped in trash bags and clear packing tape to protect it from the elements. He steps off that bridge, clambers under it, which is an odd thing for someone who's 6'4", so he's a really tall guy. He duck walks under there and slides that package into the superstructure, where it's going to be safe from the casual observer or kids playing. Climbs back on the bridge, knocks the dirt off his shoes, and smiles to himself. He's had a wonderful day, and he's capped it with his final drop to the Russians. 22 years of spying for the Soviet Union and then Russia. Think about that for a moment. 22 years of spying. That is an enormous shelf life for a spy. That means that he started spying for the Soviet Union, went dormant, and reactivated himself as a spy for Russia after the Soviet Union fell and reformed into the Russian Federation. Now that's important because back when I worked for the FBI as a ghost, working undercover following spies and terrorists, we were catching all these old Cold War guys. Because what was happening is after the Soviet Union fell, the KGB was thrown out, and they reformed into the FSB and the SVR, right? They fired a lot of these old guys. And they didn't want to go work a farm or beat their sword into a plowshare. These were the ones who were riding high on the hog in the old pretend communist country. And so what they did is they stole secrets. Many secrets, file cabinets worth of secrets, and sold them to the highest bidder, which was often the United States, the UK. And then we were rolling up these spies. But we never caught Robert Hansen. He was the worst spy in U.S. history. Some of the things that he gave up, just to set the stage here for the damage that he did, the worst damaging spy in U.S. history. He gave up our nuclear secrets. If you think about the Cold War when he started spying, he had access through some of the different task forces he worked with, to nuclear secrets, where we would fire our bombs, what we would do in the case of a catastrophic strike. He gave that up. He also gave up with it our continuity government plan. So if the Soviet Union decided to attack us, where would they fire? Because they would like to know where our president and vice president, cabinet, Congress, and everybody would go if there was a catastrophic attack. Everyone who matters in politics, or depending on your politics, doesn't matter. You decide. He gave up undercover operations. And because the intelligence community tries to be intelligent, we called ourselves that, so we try to live up to it. We knew that there was a problem. Assets were disappearing. They were getting killed. Undercover operations were being blown. Covers were being blown. People who had worked for a career undercover were suddenly known to the enemy. He gave up all those operations. He gave up ways and means that we conduct counterintelligence here in the United States, and when we can't protect ourselves from spies and terrorists, buildings fall and people die. The other thing he gave up was a tunnel. And this is where truth is a little bit more fictional than fiction, or more interesting than fiction. A tunnel that we had laboriously drilled under the Russian embassy in Washington, D.C., Tunnel Road. So millions and millions of dollars, years to build this tunnel. We had bored this tunnel, put a listening post right under their embassy, and were listening to everything that they were saying. So follow me here. They know that we don't know that they know that we're listening. You get that? This is the way the spy game works. What can they do? It's law school, I should call on someone, but I won't do that. They can feed us false information. And they did that for years. We spent all this money and time, and we had these poor people having to listen to Russian and translate day after day, 24/7. And our days were a waste of time, because everything they translated was fed to us by the Russians. Another thing he gave up. The few people who could have possibly pointed the finger back at him, our assets. Military colonels who were working for us in the Russian military, in the GRU. They were flown back to Moscow and shot in the back of the head. So he was a pretty bad guy. And the worst spy in U.S. history, but now you're asking yourself, Eric, this is a cybersecurity conference. We want to hear about cybersecurity. What does this Cold War spy have to do with cybersecurity? Everything. Because Robert Hanssen wasn't just the most damaging spy in U.S. history, he was the first cyber spy. He was the first massive spy to steal information by exploiting computer systems. You got to go way back to some of the first computerization in the FBI and in the intelligence community for when he started his spying. In fact, the first drops that he gave, or after he got past the paper and photocopying and stealing things and shoving down your pants and sneaking out of government buildings, that kind of thing, some of the first data that was dropped to the Soviets was by Robert Hanssen. And remember, so now we see the age of the audience. How many people remember a 5 1/4 floppy disk? Yeah, sometimes 2 hands go up. These things look like the small records, and I think when they first dropped them to his Soviet handlers, they probably put it on a record player and spun it and said, I don't know what's going on. And then in subsequent drops, he had to come back and tell them what it was. You stick it in a computer, and it's encrypted. Here's how you decrypt it. They didn't even know how to decrypt. He was writing his own encryption. And then, of course, he moved to the 3.5, a little bit smaller, a little bit more sturdy floppy disks that had less chance to get destroyed in the drops. This is how he did it. He dropped data. He was able to exploit FBI security systems. And he was telling the FBI all along that we were vulnerable. And we didn't listen. Because we thought he was kind of creepy and weird, and that was all true. And you don't listen to creepy and weird people all that often, but maybe we should. And we didn't listen. So what's happened since then? I mean, we caught him in 2001. Have we learned any lessons by looking at Hanssen? No, not really. Because we are in the year of cyber attacks. We are in the decade of cyber attacks. The last few years have been absolutely horrible. And it's looking to get worse. And that's why we come to conferences like this, to learn how to make it better. And I hope that some of you aren't here to learn how to make it worse. It's possible. It's an amazing lineup of speakers today. Everything from honey traps to the new PowerShell attacks, which are sort of old and new again, to ransomware. You can learn a lot from these conferences. So I want to start with something that's super important. And it's a theory I've come up with in the last few years that I think is very true. Simply this. There are no hackers. There are no hackers, there are only spies. Think about that for a minute. There are no hackers, there are only spies. Hacking is nothing more than a necessary evolution of espionage. And those people who are all my old friends who are the hackers, they're not doing that sort of stuff anymore. They're doing it, but they're working for security companies. They've all gone and joined the vendor booths. Why? Because you make more money, you get to do the same fun stuff, and there's a lot less chance you get arrested. The people who are doing what we used to traditionally call hackers are spies, often working out of large warehouses where they have air conditioning in a country that might not have much, and good salaries, and 3 square meals, and all the time and money in the world to try to penetrate systems. These are spies. And spies, these cyber spies, call them that, are using the traditional spy playbook. Why did espionage have to turn to hacking? Why did espionage have to turn to penetrating computer systems? Simple. That's where we're putting all our paper. You don't store stuff in file cabinets anymore. Half of you probably don't even remember what it was like to have a Rolodex. It's all sitting in your car. And if you're not going to put stuff on paper, what good is it to break into a building or recruit someone to try to sneak it out when you can sit in a computer somewhere around the world and attack that way? And as our technology got better, as our technology got more proficient in defense and prevention, then hackers had to stop just trying to brute force into computer systems and started attacking people. We like to say that amateurs attack computers and professionals attack people. That's become picked up a lot more. It's more of an old yarn now, but it's absolutely true. We're seeing less of the traditional hacking attacks and a lot more social engineering and phishing attacks. We all get at least a phishing attack a week. I get maybe 7 or 8 a day trying to get you through email, and that is how you spy these days, attacking through email. And like I said, spies are using traditional approaches, traditional tradecraft approaches to attack people. Think of the traditional espionage. Think of any James Bond movie. What are the bad guys doing? Everything from theft, we get that, to sabotage, to disruption, and of course, for revenge. All in the spy's playbook. So let's look at a couple of attacks. I'd love to start with the Sony attack. People are like, Sony, that was 2014. Well, it's very important to understand the framework for what we're dealing with today. Because it was the first time, Sony was the first time, that every single executive in the world had to look at their email account and wonder, what happens if this is posted online? What is the dumbest thing that I wrote? And is a journalist going to see it and publish it? Is this going to make me look like a complete fool on the evening news? In Sony, this group called the Guardians of Peace, I mean, all you hackers out there, you gotta have your special names, attacked Sony. So the Sony people in Culver City, that's in California, in Los Angeles, show up at work and they can't get into any of their systems. Looks like a ransomware attack. And there's this red skull with these red freaky fingers that says Guardians of Peace. So why does Guardians of Peace have to have a freaky red skull with freaky fingers? Do you think that they have like My Little Pony or something? But no. Is that you have been hacked and your information is ours and you're evil, lousy, no good people and they're angry because of the movie The Interview, among other things. Because it's North Korea. It's not some hacker group or some hacker group. It's North Korea having this very lame attempt to hide that they are the ones doing the hackers, that they can have a little bit of deniability. I have no idea why they need deniability. They tend to claim responsibility for all this stuff anyway, because they're mad at Sony. Because when you have a dictatorial tyrant run your country, and you find out that a major motion picture studio is going to put out a movie where 2 of the biggest bumbling idiots on earth somehow assassinate you, you get a little mad. And when you have 3,000 to 4,000 people who work for you, virtually everyone who's graduating North Korea with a computer degree or computer science degree or systems engineer degree, or I learned how to program DOS a long time ago. Okay, that's great. Come with us. He's being shoved in one of these warehouses for his own some private hacking army Well, you can get Sony. So poor Sony can't get into their systems. Their reaction is, let's shut everything down, which was actually quite smart. For over 2 weeks, no one could send an email, and no one could access a network in Sony. Now, Sony spans countries. This isn't just Culver City. It turns out that they had attacked 50 separate networks from the US up into the UK, infected all of them, stolen an enormous amount of information. And so the first bad thing that happened was all this information, all these emails got published in a paste bin, basically an anonymous website where you can go and just download the information wholesale. Reporters were sifting through it with glee and publishing all sorts of mean things that producers were saying about actors and mean things that actors were saying about actors. And other things like, it turns out that women were getting paid far less than men. That sparked a huge problem in the industry. And, you know, sometimes there are good repercussions from these things. But also, movies that were published and released early, so they couldn't make any money off them. Screenplays, cool screenplays, that now that they were out in the public, were never going to get turned into movies. So boo, we don't get to see those. Loss of IP, loss of reputation, massive harm in the industry. If they weren't a group like Sony, a big, powerful company, they would have gone bankrupt. And 2 weeks where you can't use your computer, that would drive all of us crazy. Put your phone away for 2 weeks. Right? Don't access the internet. Now you know how Sony felt. Plus the fear that should I ever send an email again. But that wasn't the extent of it. What a lot of people don't realize is not only did they steal information, they left behind what I like to call little cyber bombs. They infected all of these computer networks and systems with malware. And the malware was triggered with a detonation to go off and wipe the entire thing clean in a way that forensics couldn't reconstruct it. Now, this is super interesting because at the same time this was happening, North Korea was hacking South Korea. 140,000 computers across South Korea, over 160 businesses and government agencies were infected with this same malware, which would detonate and wipe them all clean. That's an attack on critical infrastructure. So, you know, same exact code, that's what made us very certain that this was North Korea who attacked Sony and also attacked South Korea at the same time. Now, they didn't detonate. Sony was smart. They shut down their systems. They were able to find it before they did it. South Korea, same thing. They were able to stop it. I think they got a little greedy. They were trying to get more and more and more systems until finally someone noticed. Serious attack. Does any of this sound familiar to anyone? It should. Because this was the playbook that was just used during this election cycle. When we're talking about the attack on the DNC, same exact attacks. And by the way, when we're looking at Sony, it's believed that one of the vectors for attack may have been a trusted insider, a Robert Hansen, someone who worked at Sony, who didn't really like the idea that this movie was coming out or didn't like what Sony was doing, was just mad or disgruntled or whatever. When we talk about a trusted insider, we're talking about someone who goes rogue. Either it's a disgruntled employee who's angry at their employer, or someone who is recruited by a spy agency. I mean, that still happens too. One of the effective, you can either hack someone, you can phish them and get them to type their email address and password into a spoofed web page. You're going to hear a lot about this kind of stuff today. A spoofed web page, or directly through a link from an attachment to load malware onto their computer. That's one way to attack someone, probably the best way to attack someone. Or you can literally go straight up and recruit them. And just believe that one of these people was recruited. You can use a number of things. Money is the easiest, greed. I pay you $10,000, and you load this malware on your system. Or maybe $50,000, or maybe $100,000. Or blackmail. I've learned something about you. Because China attacks the Office of Personnel Management and learns all sorts of things about government employees, and now they know who to exploit, right? This is what I'm very worried about today. Or, of course, ideology. I don't even need to give you money because you think more like me, or you pray more like me, or you believe more like me, or your politics are more like me. So load this malware for me. Trust Insider, the best way I can explain what it feels like to have a Trust Insider in your organization or your agency is what a campfire store. How many people like campfire stores? Remember them? Or have actually been camping? You see less and less of that these days. The iPad generation. But Campfire story. So you can tell this to your kids if you want to spook them out a little or your friends. The babysitter and the phone call. Everyone knows this one? Right. Babysitter, we're going to update it from when I was a kid, in the campfire. Babysitter's put the kids to sleep. She's watching Netflix. Right? We've updated it, right? She's got her cell phone. It's not like one of those hard phones with a wire that no one has anymore. And the phone rings. She answers it, and it's a breathy voice. Do you know if your kids are okay? She thinks it's a crank call. Who the hell is this? Click. Calls again. Do you know if your kids are okay? Like that. Echo. And she gets upset, hangs up. Third time, she's freaked out. She calls the police. Says, I don't know, some creepy person is calling you. And they say, okay, it's probably just a crank call, but you're really freaked out, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to trace the call. Keep them on the line next time. Calls. Do you know if your kids are okay? And she says, yeah, of course they are. I just checked on them. They're absolutely fine. They're sleeping like little angels. And what kind of a weirdo creep? How'd you even get this number? Keeps them on the line. They'll finally click. Phone rings again. She's ready to scream at the guy, but it's the police. And they say what? Upstairs. Run. He's upstairs. That's the creepy version. That's the trusted insider. Now, if you want to take it to the R-rated version, there's a little guy had his thing saying, I'm not going to say that words. But she runs to the bottom of the stairs. And he stands there with the severed heads of the children and a knife in his other hand and it's dripping blood. That's the scary version. That's more like the trusted insider in your organization. And it can cause a lot of trouble. So getting back to the DNC attack, which is a lot like what happened to Sony. Probably not a trusted insider there. It was just people who were answering links in their email and becoming what I call a virtual trusted insider. If I can phish you and get you to give me your username and password and credentials to get into your system, and in their system all you needed was username and password, you didn't need a RSA token or any of the other things that a good security would require, then I can create a virtual trusted insider. I can make you my trusted insider by becoming you in a system and just stealing quietly without anyone knowing. And that's what happened. The Russians, now, I know there's a lot of controversy. Is it Russia? Isn't it Russia? I got this sense that it's Russia. I worked against Russia for so many years. I got a feeling that this is something they would do, because they've done it every single political campaign. They attacked Obama. They attacked John McCain. They attacked Romney. Stealing information. China and Russia, sort of, they ping-pong ball back and forth. Who's the top spy or spy this year? So let's just, for sake of argument, even though I know attribution is very difficult to say, it was. The problem here is that they just changed the entire game of espionage. Because typically, espionage would be to steal information. Russia and China and others want to know what our next president will do. They want to gather policy information, because information is power, and if you have information about what an administration is going to do, you can outthink them. And so, obviously, they were trying to steal information from Hillary Clinton because everybody thought that would be the next president. But what they did that was different is publish it online, the Sony playbook. Now, there was this new thing that didn't exist back in Sony. WikiLeaks, which I like to call the fast food of spying. Because WikiLeaks makes it easy for anybody to be a spy. All you got to do is steal information, sort of drive-by window, dump it on there, and you're a spy. Right? You're a nasty, evil spy. And WikiLeaks shows that they have zero journalistic integrity, which they had been claiming all along, by not just publishing all of it, which is sort of mirrors what happened in Sony, but dribbling it out week by week. Only the really important bits, which helped the journalists who were gleefully going through it all. A lot of journalists were even saying, I feel really dirty and I have to take a shower by going through this stuff, but I have to do it anyway. And it caused damage. This is not just disruption, but sabotage. It's attacking our politics, and we don't really like that. Now, some of the information you could say that came out created one of the more transparent elections in history, but the problem is that the way it came out is problematic, especially for me, because we don't want spies driving us. We'd rather it come out in a different way. So spies are attacking us. And they're going to continue to attack us, and we're going to use this traditional espionage. Those are the spies. Now, cyber spies also are attacking in different vectors. And one thing that I do want to highlight is ransomware. And the reason I want to highlight ransomware is ransomware attacks were a $1 billion crime, $1 billion plus in 2016. Welcome to 2017, everybody. There are predictions that it may be 300% worse this year. Why? It works extremely well. Why does it work so well? Because nobody's listening to history. Nobody's listening to history. Cybersecurity is still something that many companies are not purchasing. And when they're purchasing it, they don't have individuals working for the companies, which hopefully some of you will be or are, that understand the technology they purchased. Or they have nothing at all. 88% of ransomware attacks last year targeted the medical industry. Want to know why? Most of them don't have cybersecurity, and when they're hit by ransomware, when they're locked, they really, really, really need to get unlocked fast. Let me tell you about Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center. It's a 260-bed acute care facility in LA, in Hollywood, and that small medical center has dedicated doctors and nurses who deal with really serious cases. One morning they go in, they can't get into any of their systems, and there's this nice little blurb on their screens which are completely locked saying, you have been locked with ransomware. It's very polite because ransomware is a business. This is what encryption means. You will never be able to break this encryption, and we've encrypted your entire drive with a program called CryptoLocker, which is a sort of malware that does that. Encrypts the drive, and unless you have the key to unlock that encryption, you will not get that data back. Now, we're starting to use some sophisticated AI to start breaking some of the encryption, but as we do that, the attackers are coming up with better malware. So this sort of leapfrogging approach. They don't know what to do. They call the FBI, they say, don't do anything, and they spend weeks with the doctors and nurses using paper to treat their patients. We can't do that anymore. You can't get blood work. You can't get your x-ray results. You can't use an MRI machine. They're literally sending their patients to other hospitals, which is good for a hospital. And the poor nurses were, had to write things on their arm. They looked like they went to a tattoo parlor and got sleeves by the end of the day. So they paid 40 Bitcoin, about $17,000 in order to get unlocked. 88% of these attacks, $1 billion worth of crime, attacked hospitals. And they're all attacking small and medium businesses that don't have ransomware. I mean, it's so polite when you get hit. It explains everything to you. And you can click on a link to live chat with your attacker. Yeah, and they'll explain, oh, here's how you buy Bitcoin. Oh, we understand no one really knows how to buy Bitcoin. I bought some Bitcoin just to, test it for myself to see. It's really complicated. It's not all that easy. And for especially someone who's uninitiated, who's just sitting at home and gets locked by ransomware. So they help you do that and help you pay them. It's getting worse. So the vectors change, of course. The vectors of attack change. Okay, so I love movies. There's a movie Breach about me, and I talk about movies all the time. How about the movie Saw? You guys know those movies? The torture porn movies? I don't like the movie Saw. You know why? I love horror movies, but I have a rule with horror movies. You gotta be able to survive. If you can't survive in the movie, you can be dumb and die because you're dumb. Okay, I get that. But if you don't have a chance to survive, if you're at least smart, I don't like Saw movies. The Buzzsaw ransomware is like that. So you get locked. It's a freaky green screen, like monochrome stuff that we don't want to see anymore. Because those of us who remember how horrible it is. So it reminds you of that. And then it has that clown from the movie Saw that's laughing at you, so it emasculates you or makes you feel terrible. And then a counter starts. It starts counting down. It's like a 4-minute, 5-minute counter. And when it gets to 0, it deletes a percentage of your information. Right? How scary is that? And you're like, crap, I got to figure out in the next 5 minutes how to buy a freaking Bitcoin. They're not helping you there. And so finally you pay. Buzzsaw attack. We're learning to get ahead of that. So you know what they came out with? Because we're starting to defeat these different ransomware attacks? Popcorn. Popcorn's my absolute favorite because I studied psychology and it puts you in this dilemma. This very interesting dilemma. So popcorn's like this. You have been locked with ransomware. But we want to help you out when we're a business. If you send this to 2 of your friends and they get locked, we'll unlock you for free. So if you're a college student and you don't have $700 in your pocket to unlock yourself, right? And your midterm is due, or you have a paper due, and you really got to get that out, you might say, who do I hate the most? You've just become a hacker. You've also committed a crime. So yeah, it can be. Now, as a futurist, I kind of try to think of what are the next attacks, right? And so let's just stick with ransomware and not get too complicated. But think about the Internet of Things. Right? How is that changing everything? First of all, we're buying all sorts of stuff to stick in our home just so we can have fun and sit on our couch with our smartphone and turn on our air conditioning or our lights or make our lights blue or see what's in our refrigerator. All these things are coming and changing. You look at the security cameras in your home from wherever you are. And this actually happened. Security cameras saved me because we went on vacation. I turned on the security camera to look at my phone, and I didn't want to tell my wife what I saw. The cat was locked on the porch, right? We were gone for 2 weeks. Cat's locked on the porch. We don't have a cat anymore, thank God. Sorry, cat lovers. But not because of this story. Cat's locked on the porch. And I didn't want to tell my wife because it was my fault, right? I didn't make sure. The thing must have slipped out. And so I told my friend. I was like, look, you have a key to our house. You've got to get down there and rescue the cat. The security cameras can be good, but hackers can do the same thing. They can look through your security feed, especially if you just put it up out of the box and you're not setting a good password on it. You're just left an open camera looking into your house. There is a website where you can go and just scroll through live cams, and you sort of see like nightclub, bar, security cam looking at the beach, security cam looking at the city, baby sleeping, someone's living room, somebody getting changed. Yeah, because these are all open. So, Internet of Things. Imagine this, right? So we're going into the future. It's 2017. Let's just go to 2020, because this is probably where we've seen a lot of this. You wake up in the morning, and you really have to get to work, right? You have to get to work. Because you've missed a bunch of days. If you miss one more day, your boss is going to fire you. Or you have this immense proposal that you're going to submit that morning, and a whole team is coming in from overseas, or God knows what. But if you don't make it to work, you're doomed. The sky will fall. Chicken Little will laugh at you. Get your car, your self-driving car. You tap the infotainment system with your thumbprint, turn it all on, and it says, "You've been hacked." Right? Not even good grammar. You've been hacked. Pay $200 with Bitcoin, and we'll drive you to work. What do? Well, probably pay, because you got to get to work. You're not going to spend the time to get some IT police to come out and help you. It's probably going to be a thing soon. Or how about this, right? I have a 9-year-old and a 3-year-old daughter, so those of you with daughters will understand this. You're in your smart home. It's a Saturday, so you don't have to get to work. And all your doors lock. You can't get out, right? So whatever, I'm trapped in my home. I'll just watch Netflix until the IT police can come and help me. Except for they turn on your stereo system super loud. And they play Let It Go, full blast. I would pay $200 to not have to hear that song again. These are the sort of things that can happen. Ransomware isn't just sort of these trite things that will get people to pay a quick $200, which is very effective. Ransomware has been used to lock 3 separate power companies in the last year. That is an attack on our critical infrastructure and something that we have to be quite worried about. So ransomware attacks. So why is this all happening? Why are we having so much trouble with cyber attacks? Part of the problem is this issue between security and the criminals. That we've always had, this massive tension between security and crime. You see, the problem is that as security reacts to crime, crime is spending time to figure out the next great thing. The best way to explain this is with physical security. I step away from cyber for a bit because the other side of my expertise is counterterror. Remember back in the day when we had this problem with people loading trucks full of explosives and either ramming them into buildings, the great suicide attack, or just sort of parking them next to buildings. Oklahoma City was, the attackers, the domestic terrorists, just parked it They parked it under a child care center and then walked away, got in another car and drove off. It detonated. Well, government buildings now, if you go to see any government building around, U.S. government building around the world, have these jersey walls. The jersey walls have steel cores in them. And they hide them in a lot of clever ways. But the jersey walls are set at an offset, right? So if the truck hits here and explodes, this is the offset for the blast, which isn't going to damage or the building or hurt people inside. Big steel cores. Like FBI headquarters has some of the silliest. They have these big, humongous planters. And they started around one line of the building with flowers in the planters. And they looked nice, at least when it was spring and fall. And then I guess they ran out of money because the rest are just filled with gravel. Around the other three, I mean, it's such an ugly building. It's a horrible building. Anyway, but they're all the same. We solved that problem. We reacted to the truck bomb attack. So what did the enemy do? What did terrorists do? They flew planes into buildings. So we said, okay, we react to that. What we're going to do is create Department of Homeland Security, and everybody has to take their shoes off, and we're going to vet everybody. And if you don't want to have a miserable time at the airport, you have to get TSA pre, and we're going to have global entry, and all of these things, all of this reaction, all this money. Thank God that the reaction to the Christmas bomber, which was a guy who tried to blow up his underwear. Think about how bad that could go if you had to take that off and you're going to put that on the deck. Right, anyway. And they're not that crazy. So what's the new attack? Back to trucks. We'll just drive them into crowds. And what's the reaction to that? Always reacting? Well, during the election, you couldn't get anywhere near anyone in that crowd with any kind of vehicle. We had these massive fences set up with security all around. They'll come up with the next thing. Because as long as we in security are always reacting to the bad guys, we are never going to win. They are always going to come up with the next big thing while we're spending the time, money, and attention reacting. So that's why if you want to defeat hackers, if you want to defeat spies, if you want to defeat crime, if you want to defeat terrorists, you have to be active in your profile. So when I talk about what you can do, right? So what can you do? What does security need to do? The first thing is good technology. You have to have good technology that's ahead of the curve, that is outthinking the opponent. That means that the company is thinking about the next attacks. That's why all the hackers are working for security companies. It's not just because they're tired of hacking from home. It's because it's necessary to think like the enemy in order to defeat them. I mean, that's special ops 101. But having the technology isn't good enough. People need to be trained in how to use it. A lot of organizations will buy the best new technology, but have no internal capacity to understand it. If you can't use the thing you have, it's useless. So you have to have trained individuals. You have to move that technology closest to the vector of attack. So I say, move the technology closest to the people who are going to screw up. In the DNC attack, one of the biggest reasons that attack was so extraordinary is because John Podesta, the chairman of Hillary's campaign, clicked on one of the easiest spear phishing attacks possible. Actually, not even spear phishing. That's where you target an individual, just phishing attack. Google email saying, change your password. You're kidding me. I mean, we get those every day, right? We all know delete them, right? Yeah, Google's never going to ask you to do that on an email. Well, he did. He inserts his username and his current password and the new password he wants, which is just in a fake field, and they have his password. 31,000 emails dating from 2008 to 2016 were published online, dumped into WikiLeaks. Don't be John Podesta. Right? So you have to understand the technology, you have to leverage the technology, you have to move the technology closest to the person who's going to click on that link, because if it doesn't stop the malware at the point of attack, what we call endpoints, like this phone is an endpoint, this laptop is an endpoint, those things that are closest to the person, the endpoints from your computer network to the people who are using them, then you're doomed. And then finally, you have to have that visibility into what is happening real time. When there's an attack, I like to say, the attacker has the advantage. Think of a home burglar. The burglar that's a really hard word to say. The person who's going to break and enter has the advantage because you don't know when they're coming. You can have cameras and door locks and a smart home and all that and a big mean dog, but you don't know when they're coming. And they will watch and wait until you're not home and the dog's at the vet and the lights are going on cycles and that sort of thing and attack them. But when they're in your home, you should have the advantage. You should be able to flip it. Once the attacker gets in, once the malware is loaded, once they're moving through your system to affect more and more computers so they can get them all at once, you should be God in your environment. Be able to see them, spot them, stop them, and have the visibility and the analytics in your system to see where they started, where they went, and how to defeat them. And if you don't have all those tools, then you're at a deficit. Because if China comes after you, or North Korea comes after you, and they are attacking businesses, you're in a lot of trouble. Finally, I'd like to talk about zero trust. Hopefully someone says this today in one of your seminars. But zero trust means that, here's a great analogy, it's the most exclusive club in Hollywood, right? With the biggest freaking bouncer standing at the door, right? And he doesn't care how good you look. He doesn't care how well-heeled you are or how well-dressed you are. You're not getting in unless you're on the list. Things don't execute in your environment unless they're on a list, right? Now, if I show up at one of these clubs with Brian Phillippe, who played me in the movie, I'm going to get in. Because he somehow gets in everywhere. It's uncanny. It's amazing. You don't stand in lines. You don't have to pay for things sometimes. It's amazing. Anyway, but if you're not on the list, it doesn't matter how good you are, how great a story you have, how interesting that phishing attack is, you're not going to get in because when someone clicks on that bad link, that malware won't execute. So zero trust. All those things will stop the spies, will stop the cyber spies. So before I go into questions and answers, because we've been talking for a good 45 minutes on this, I'm going to tell you how we caught my spy, my cyber spy, how we caught Robert Hansen. Because Hansen had spy, like I said, for 22 some years. He was the best. We hadn't caught him for 22 years, and in the twilight of his career, when he was ready to be done, we learned about him because a source gave us information. We recruited a source from Russia, and that source gave us a slim file of information that pointed at Robert Hansen. Some letters he had written with a pseudonym, right, anonymously. He called himself Ramon, or B, which I guess sounded very romantic because he really ate up and loved the spy life. A tape where he had called the Russians to warn them we were moving in on another spy. They had recorded his voice because they didn't even know who he was. And his one biggest mistake, partial fingerprint from one of those drops, when he would wrap them in trash bags, he left one small fingerprint on one of those. This is before he could watch CSI on TV. So, no. But they couldn't run the fingerprint, but when it came back to us, we could. The problem is, we had nothing that linked this man, Hansen, back to this spy in the Soviet times. And that's when he did all his worst stuff. And all of it was circumstantial. The asset, the defector who had given us this material was now in witness protection, had a great life, plenty of money, kids were put up in school, and living somewhere in the US, I don't even know. We're not going to put him on the witness stand because you know what Russia does. You put one of these defectors on the witness stand, next thing you know, they get up in the morning, they eat a muffin with plutonium in it, and they are sick and then they disappear, right? So that's not going to happen. No one, since we're in the courtroom, there was no one to testify to the evidence, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And so we had to beat him in that room. We had to create a situation where we could bring him back to FBI headquarters and make him spy. And that's what we did. What I realized is criminals, one thing that you need to know about catching criminals is they have routines. They have things they do over and over to protect themselves, especially if they want to secure or protect information. Hansen's routine was this. He would take his phone, and he would take his, not phone. There weren't really that great phones back then. It was his Palm Pilot. Right? Who remembers the Palm 3X? Yeah, there are my older folks. And the Palm 3X, it was great. It was this big, thick thing, and you could put your calendar in it. Yay! And that's about it. And you could tap it with a stylus, which was cool. And other than that, it really didn't do much else. But it was new and cool, and everyone had them. And he told me, this big Palm 3X, he told me, every executive worth their salt has a personal assistant. That's what it's called, personal assistant. And if you don't have one, then you're never going to be anything but a do-nothing, no-good, worthless clerk. I said, okay. I went to the Office of Science and Technology and I asked the chief scientist, I would like a Palm 3, please. He said, they haven't been using Palm 3s in a while. I'll give you a Palm 5. I said, and he said, why do you need one? I said, so I will not have to be a no-good, worthless, nothing clerk for the rest of my career. And he shook his head and he said, that's good enough for me. Gave me the device. I said, give me 2, I'll give one for the boss and make myself look good. I'm trying to catch him as a spy, you know. And he did. Got that. Tried to hand my new boss a Palm 5 and he said, I don't want that. Pulled out his Palm 3 and said, I've written the encryption on this myself. These idiots at the FBI couldn't even crack it. His words, not mine. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's a clue, right? When you're working undercover, that's a clue when people say things like that. So I said, we need to get that away from them. Now, in order to do this, we use one of these great terms of art from undercover operations called shenanigans. Seriously, you've got to come up with some pretext, some social engineering that's going to remove him from his device with sufficient time to steal it and copy it and get it back before he knows it's gone. Otherwise, you've blown the whole operation. Here's what we did. Because he could not sit down in the thing, and he kept it in his left back pocket, every time he sat down, he would have to pull it out of his pocket and put it in his bag, which was his routine, or he would have to go to a chiropractor, because you don't sit down on something that's that thick. And when he stood up, he'd reach down like clockwork and grab it and put it back in his back pocket. We had to break that routine. So what we did is we learned everything we knew about him. Hates authority, doesn't like to be interrupted, doesn't like to be challenged. We had an assistant director read into the case. He shows up unannounced when we're sitting at his desk. I made sure that was happening. Slaps $20 on the table and says, you and me, shooting range now, I'll bet you that 20, I outshoot you every target. Hanson's angry and pissed and he's red in the face, but he can't tell his boss no. It's technically his boss, someone who ranks him. So he gets up, he's grumbling, he grabs his Palm Pilot, and he goes over to the, he leaves with the guy, he doesn't grab his Palm, but he leaves with the guy. I wait till he gets down there, and I get a text on the other really cool technology, the alphanumeric two-way pager, in pocket. And I go, great. I go through his bag, I see his Palm Pilot, I grab it, I run it down 3 flights of steps, give it to a tech team, and they start copying it. And of course, because Murphy's Law always comes to get you, right? People know Murphy's Law, I think that can go wrong, will go wrong. I get my next text. Don't know what's happening, out of pocket, probably coming to you. Look at my watch. Okay. I have about 9 minutes before he can limp up from the shooting range, which is in the garage, up to the 9th floor, and see that his device is gone, and knock on the door gently. I say, hey, can I have the device? He says, oh, we're getting it done. They're literally using Door to Ghost to copy the number. I bring you all back in technology of these things. I get it. I've got like 2 or 3 minutes. I run up there. I'm feeling really good about myself. I get to the bag. I kneel down. And I've opened all 4 pockets. And I have no clue which pocket I pulled this thing out. And by the way, I didn't just pull out the Palm Pilot. I pulled out a data card too. So 2 devices. And the only thing I can remember is that they went in different pockets. And I couldn't remember which one. And I'm literally trying to self-hypnotize to figure out where to put these things. You know, under stress you do weird things. And I hear him coming through the door to the skiff where we worked. So I just drop, run back to my desk and put the best poker face I've ever had. And he comes in and he glares at me. And he goes into his office and slams the door. And I hear, sit. And I was thinking in that moment, this would be a good time to run. Because he's just been shooting, he's armed, I'm not. And all he has to do is, we're in a skiff, which is, you know, soundproof, special compartmentalized information facility. It's, you know, secure and whatnot. You shoot me and then take the passport that he had and open ticket to Moscow and leave forever because he knows that the whole thing's blown. And I thought, well, maybe I can talk my way out of it. I walked into your office and tripped out over your bag and everything fell out and I put it back in. Did I do it wrong? I'm sorry. And this is the calculus going on in my head, and he comes out. He leans over my desk. He says, "Were you in my office?" And I said, "Yeah, I was in your office. I put a memo in your inbox. Didn't you see it?" I said, "Please, be in the right pocket. Please, be in the right pocket." He says, "I never want you in my office again." Fast forward almost a month later, and he's on that bridge in Foxton Park in Indiana, Virginia, looking down at Wolf Creek running under him, smiling to himself. He retraces his steps back along that old trail to his silver Ford Taurus, which he's parked alongside the park. He reaches his car and he pulls his keys out of his pocket. 2 SWAT vans screech to a halt. SWAT agents jump out and point automatic weapons at him, tell him to drop the keys, and put his hands up. Robert Hansen is arrested for espionage against the United States. We had him cold. Not only from that Palm Pilot did we know where he was going to make that last drop, but when. And we were able to tie him back to everything he had done in his time as a spy for the Soviet Union. So we had him in every way possible, and he'll spend the rest of his life the cyber spy in Supermax prison in Florence, Colorado. And I would rather be dead. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you catch a spy. And with that, so we have time for questions until Derek tells me to stop. So it'll be his phone.
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
So there's a lot about history here, right? But the billions that we're spending as taxpayers, we're so behind. And because if you look at this from an investment standpoint, this type of stuff shouldn't continue to happen,
Right.
considering the investment dollars. So are we wasting our investment in bad technology, bad processes? And
You're right. So, we're spending billions. So here's the questions everybody here. We're spending billions now in technology and cybersecurity. Are we wasting our investment? Because all of these attacks are happening. I mean, if you think about it, in the last number of years, we've had China attacking OPM, Anthem, any number of companies have been attacked. Ransomware is ubiquitous. It happens day in and day out. Are we off the right track? Well, one of the problems is in the last 8 years, in the last administration, there wasn't even a policy for what we do if there's a catastrophic attack. Nobody has invested time or attention in cybersecurity. The hope is that in the next administration, maybe that'll be on the agenda. There was almost going to be an executive order on cybersecurity, it was pulled at the last minute. Conservative, that there'll be something substantial behind it. We spend some money on useful solutions to cybersecurity to change things. But no, we haven't, as a nation, focused on cybersecurity the way I think that we need to. Part of the reason is that we're very decentralized. It's harder to focus on cybersecurity when our cybersecurity is